Hi, I'm Michele Saumberfield. I thought I would read another poem today. It's again by Monica WISHBRIAR. I was just picking some stuff up around the room because the room's pretty cluttered here, and I found one of my very favorite meditation stones. It's red jasper, and of course it's shaped like a heart. And I just really love this stone. It feels nice, and yeah, I just really like it a lot. Somebody was asking me earlier this evening how it was I came about remembering my past lives. The first thing I want to say is that everybody's different. What works for one person doesn't for another necessarily. I have gone to 7 different past life regression hypnosis sessions and haven't gotten a whole lot out of it. A little bit, but not a lot. I have a friend who went one time and the memories flowed forth during his session and then in the year following. Just at different times, lots and lots of memories, lots and lots of sense perception, even things he could historically look up and verify. I've meditated off and on throughout my life, but I didn't for many, many years and still have past life memories. I found that when I was writing my first book, when I was in the middle of it, like pretty far into working on it, several months into working on it every day for hours, I started remembering a past life I hadn't remembered at all prior to that. So I think everybody has their own journey. I think for me, majoring in theater when I went into college kind of made things happen, probably because I was in acting during my last past life, and also because I've been in the theater during multiple lifetimes. As both a man and a woman, I've been a performer during various past lives. I've been a piano player, I've been a singer a couple times, I've been an actress, I've been an actor. So I think maybe for me, being around theater people and being in theatrical settings really opened up something inside me. Anyway, I just want to get on with the poem. Now, this poem is a short one, kind of fun though. And I think it just kind of speaks for itself. But I think, again, it's about desire and realizing that the person who you desire is nowhere nearby. So there comes a point where you can flirt, but you're going to get really frustrated. And then you got to ask yourself, are either one of you going to make the effort to travel? You could meet halfway, or the woman could go to the guy, or the guy could go to the woman, or every other month or half a year you could do just the opposite, whatever. But unless there's really a plan in place, it's kind of like leaving things up to fate and kind of frustrating. And so I think that's what this particular poem is about. It's about just hitting that brick wall and saying, okay, this has been fun, but it's not going anywhere. So let's get on with the poem. Again, as I did the last time, I'm going to use this very crooked, maybe possibly falling apart magnifying glass to help me to see the small print that I have to see on the next screen. It's very frustrating because even with this, I have a hard time seeing. I'm not blind, it's just I'm farsighted. And so it's harder for me to see little print. I have no problem seeing things like the cat or whatever, my frappuccino, or my boyfriend's face, or a bowl of Chinese food. I have no problems with that. It's just little print just drives me crazy, and I can see it enough that I think I know what it says, but in my mind I start second guessing and over processing because I'm so afraid of being wrong. And then, I flub up. Okay, so let's get on to the poem. That's what we're here for. This poem is called Buttersweet, not bittersweet, buttersweet, by Monica WISHBRIAR. I looked at you with eager eyes, longing for your embrace. But you only cared about parts. I bared removing lace. You said to me, I want to see your legs in fine black netting. And then I posed in skin-tight hose, and you said that I looked fetching. I asked you in turn to reciprocate and send me a photo of you. You sent me one wearing a hat and your pants pulled down to your shoes. And so with all this tit for tat, encouraged I bared my bosom. And you replied that you couldn't hide, confessing your response was wooden. And oh, with such between your legs and us so far apart, what could I do but imagine you and think about you hard? You arose in many daydreams, dear. You appeared in my erotic thoughts. I drank some wine and think you were fine, and the more I drank, you were hot. For several months, things moved along, corresponding nearly every day. And then the more we said, we talked about bed, becoming quite risque. But what could we possibly do about this? What remedy could we rally? I would pray that you could lay on top in between my valley. And as the time went by and by, carrying no solution, we finally said, forget about bed, and you put away your protrusion. Now, just because you drifted away as reality cruelly descended, doesn't mean I don't think about you with my body trembling and bended. For I will not forget you, dear. Your memory makes me shudder. I would lay upon you sweet, as bread is spread with butter. Buttersweet. Okay, so that was a little rough. Oh well, what else is new, right? All of my poetry readings are tongue-tied and ugh. But the point is, don't be afraid to read poetry if you like it. Don't be afraid to get out and read for other people if you like it. There's probably lots of people who, aren't quite sure. They get lost in the cadence. They don't know what a word means, so they're trying to figure it out while they're reading, and then they get themselves confused. Or if you don't recognize a word, you might pronounce it wrong. Or sometimes, if a word can be pronounced two different ways, like potato, potato, again, again. Sometimes how a word is pronounced in a poem depends upon what's coming next or what just came before it, because sometimes the pronunciation is important to the cadence of the poem. So I guess what I would want to say about this particular poem, I think a lot of people are probably in a situation where, you flirt with someone, especially if you meet someone online. And I have before. I've met people online who I've flirted with and met. I've met people online who I've flirted with and never met. And it's kind of interesting because it's kind of like there's this safety zone if there's a lot of distance between you. But at the same time, if you really have a connection, it's almost like if you really have a true connection, then it's just too frustrating because, you want to see it through. Oh no, little kitty wants in, I think. Just a sec, I'll get little kitty. She keeps crying outside the door, and then that makes it really harder to read. I already gave her some of my vanilla bean frappuccino earlier. She's acting like she's tortured, but honestly, she's always jumping all over me and always putting her face in my food. I've got to be really careful or she'll steal my food when I'm not looking. Yeah, she's the sweet little girl. She actually loves my boyfriend the most of all, but he's probably ignoring her right now. He's probably working on stock market stuff or something like that because that's his favorite hobby. Okay, you already had some of that, baby kitty. So anyway, I didn't really have any big point. I just wanted to say that I think that is the point of that particular poem. Monica Wishbriar's poem number 12 called Buttersweet. I think it's all about kind of coming to that head where you say, okay, we're either going to meet or we're going to part ways because this is too frustrating. And, you know, especially if you really do feel you have a connection with someone, you know, it's got to be frustrating if you can't see it through. Maybe you've been there. I know I have. I have before. It's hard. It's difficult, you know. And it's, what's really weird is when you almost start feeling jealous occasionally of someone that they're talking about because you know that person they're talking about gets to know them in real life instead of just online. And it's ridiculous because I've got people in my life, you know, it's just hard. I think that long distance relationships are hard. Whether they're actual relationships or fantasies, you know, there comes a point where you want to make things a reality. And anyway, okay, kitty cat. She's just sitting by the door there, little ball of fur. You know you can open it. I've seen you open it with your paw before, baby kitty. You know how. She likes to act helpless, but I've seen her open the door before because it's actually partially open already. She likes to be waited on. We say she likes to watch us jump. She doesn't necessarily want what she's begging for. She just wants to see us jump. She wants to be served. She's a princess. Anyway, have a good evening.